and Chris Perego with us. So we're going to begin. Is anyone here, before we do that, none of the minutes are currently ready because I haven't got to them.
Hooray.
So we'll skip that item. Open session. Anyone here for some not on the agenda? Excellent. All right. Next thing we have is updates and new info related to ARPA funds. We don't have David here tonight. I did talk to him earlier. He did not mention any new information. The select board did look at just one of the ARPA pieces that we forwarded along to the select board last evening. That was the Keep Hubbardston Beautiful for $1,000. Unfortunately, that did not pass through the select board, so it might come back up for the reconsideration. But at this point, those funds have not been appropriated. We do have a couple projects that we had voted at the last ARPA meeting to pass along to the select board, which you'll see at their next select board meeting. And those were the approximate $90,000 for Go Green Manufacturing, and was it $20,000 for the Lions Club? 20 and some change.
Something.
Okay. So those are the two projects that are currently outstanding. All right, so tonight we do have a couple folks with us tonight. We have Julie from the Hubtown Diner. She did bring in her packet, but we need to make a quick copy. So I will do that for us. In the meantime, Julie, can you just remind us who you are and what your project was, and tell us a little bit about the documents you brought us while I put it through the copy machine.
Sure. I'm Julie Wilkinson. I own the Hubtown Diner in the center of town. I brought in my profit and loss sheet for 2020, 2021, my balance sheets for both years. I did bring in copies of the 3 items that I did list on my application. And yeah. That's about it.
Just having fun over here. And where did we leave off last time, Julie? I think we just left off saying you were going to bring these documents in, right?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Oh, come on. Sorry. Do not hire me as your copy person.
It's one of those days.
Oh my god.
Yes. We will not be putting that through the copy.
Between the door alarm and the...
All right, let's try again. All right, Susan, I will give you these two to start because you would like to take a look.
Yay, thank you.
Welcome. Hoping that's a little bit of everything, and I think this is the last sheet of it. Okay.
Is this something you put together yourself? Who put the profit and loss together?
No, that's from my accountant.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
What is the unemployment compensation? Was that
So I was able to get, so they came out with PUA for sole proprietors. And I was able to get that for the time that I was closed. I was able to get that for, to keep up with diner bills and my own personal bills. And for, what's that?
More for your own personal.
Yeah, you know, I kept up with everything. I kept up with, you know, all the utilities and the rent, and then, you know, my own home bills as well while we were closed.
right, right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, I was able to get that for a little bit.
Okay.
KP, do you have any questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
The January through December peak profit and loss,
Of 2020?
of 2021?
Yeah.
Is that?
Oh, of 2021?
2021?
Yeah.
January through December 2021?
Yeah.
Is your gross income from food sales, is that representative of a normal year, or is that still off?
It's still gonna be off.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's more of an accountant question. I did bring in 2019 too. It's with my
Recording in
other
progress.
stuff.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so you can definitely compare it with that.
Was 2019 a pretty normal
Yeah,
year?
yes,
Okay.
yep.
All right. Okay.
Here you go.
Oh, thanks. That's cash flows. All right. There we go. Okay, here we go. Yeah, all right, okay, okay.
Do you have any more questions, Susan?
How are you funding this?
I had money saved of my own personal money, so
Right.
yeah, and good family and friends. So
So it looks to me like in 2020, you lost a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
And you did in 2021 also.
yeah.
All right. Remind me how much you're asking for. I think it
She
was
put in her application
23.
22,600.
Yeah, so yeah.
All right, and that's to purchase these
Yes.
items.
So I will say the application was a little confusing. I was not sure if we could ask for money to catch up on bills that, have accrued.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I made sure to put stuff in there.
Okay.
Susan, do you have any more questions?
No.
KP, do you have any questions?
no, I don't.
All right, Julie, so I think at this point, I think what we had discussed initially on email was just the idea of holding off on voting on these until we have the full board with us, hopefully next week. But
Yep.
we have all your information. I
Yep.
don't anticipate any additional questions. I think we've filtered them all out. We have all your materials.
Okay.
So we'll let you know when our meeting is next week, and you're welcome to come, or we're happy to contact you afterwards and let you know how it goes.
Okay, yeah, I know that
Okay.
works, yeah, I'm around all next
Alright.
week, so.
And then even if we vote in support of it, it has to go to the select board. Next
Yep.
select board meeting is, I think, the
25th.
24th or,
25th.
okay.
Okay,
Jeff says it's 25th, must be the 25th.
that works.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming in.
I'm gonna hang out a little bit. but-
Oh, absolutely.
It works.
All right, so we're gonna skip over to the chief since you are here with us tonight, and I assume you don't wanna hang out all night, although you're welcome to. I figure you don't want to.
I'm not known for being one for meetings, so, and it's been a tough, like, week and a half, multiple meetings, so, yeah, I don't like to hang out in meetings.
That's fair. If you can come on up so that we can make sure we capture you, so, cause you don't wanna have to come back, so we wanna make sure our other board members can hear what you have to share with us. So it looks like you requested 2 items through ARPA, or I imagine you did in conjunction with David and Ryan.
It was 3, and one of them was
Oh, yes.
approved by you guys, so I
Yes, the
appreciate that,
radios.
portable radios,
For
yeah.
17.5.
Yep.
Okay, so your other 2, one was an ambulance and one was a fire truck. Can you tell us about the ambulance you're requesting first? What's the specific rig you're requesting? Why are you requesting it now? What can you tell us?
Okay, well, first I should start off by saying what was the portable radios and the ambulance were original requests made by me. And then when I dropped those off to David the day they were due, he was like, "Oh, is this the request for the engine?" And I was like, "Fire engine." And for me, I knew that there's some communities in the area that have received ARPA funds for ambulances, which makes sense to me because it's, COVID, medical. So I wasn't even thinking about an engine. So I talked to him briefly about it. I went back, put the application in for the engine. Then I found out later that I believe Ryan, town administrator, also put one in for the engine too. And then I went back and looked at the capital plan, and there's notes from the committee that I think they approve it in the plan for FY24, but to entertain the possibility of getting ARPA funds to help fund it. So that's why I think there's some things, I've watched a few of the meetings. There's things about some of the numbers that I submitted don't match what I submitted, and then there's things about matching funds. Both of mine have no matching funds, because I don't have matching funds. So I don't know where those numbers come from.
Okay.
So I don't know if the one for the engine, that Ryan has some matching funds, which I find hard
I think
to
it's
believe
free
that they're,
cash.
yeah, so maybe that's where it comes from. So
Yeah.
my applications didn't have any matching funds, cause I don't have any money
Right,
to give, so.
okay.
So the ambulance, the way we have 2 ambulances now, the one that I'm looking for is a replacement to A2, which is a 2005 ambulance. It's 17 years old. It's further out in the capital plan. I think it's in FY 26 it's slated. But when you have an engine and 2 big ticket items within a short period of time, it's difficult to get those items. And that's why I put the ambulance in first, and moved it considerably up. It's 17 years old. It should have been replaced by now. But just in 2017, we replaced one of our engines. So trying to fit these in, it's difficult to fit it into the capital plan where they agree to it. So that's why it's been bumped out year after year. With the ARPA funds, I thought it was appropriate for that because it is an ambulance. If we have 2 ambulances that are up to current standards, then the one that we have now is just strictly a backup. So when the other one goes down for maintenance or is out of service, we use A2. But like the newer ambulance, obviously it's better safety. It actually has airbags in it. Even in the passenger compartment, it has a restraint system for the EMTs to wear. So there's a lot more safety things in that. So we only use the backup when we absolutely have to. If we had a newer ambulance that met the same standards or even better, then we could rotate to 2 ambulances on a regular basis, which happened with the original. The original and the one now were always rotated, and that's why we've had it for so long. Even 17 years old is really pushing it though. So it could come a time when the state won't sign off on it being in service anymore.
How old is the A2?
A2 is 17 years old. It's
You mean
a
A1.
2005.
I mean A1.
A1
the
is
other one.
2016. So it's
Okay.
already 6 years old.
Does that have restraints and airbags and things?
Yes,
in it?
that's the one that has that.
Okay,
Yeah,
alright.
A2
A-
does not.
A2
yeah.
does not.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
And then
And-
how many years do you usually, how many years are you supposed to replace the ambulance?
Well, I actually forgot to print that out. Ryan had asked me that several years ago to ask communities. Most of them, it's like some of them are early. They try to do the 5 to 7 year,
Yeah.
so that it's basically under warranty most of the time.
Yeah,
Some other communities push it out to the 10 to 12,
yeah,
and in Hubbardston we push it right to the max because
Till it needs an
Yeah.
ambulance.
yeah, because A1 was replaced with A1 now in 2016, and that was 2000. So 16 years we got out of that ambulance.
Okay.
So-
Did that fail? Did that
No,
2000
it made it to the end. It never went out of service, but
Okay. What happens to the old ambulance? What would you do with the 2005?
the 2005. I mean, I think I saw in one of the meetings somebody was asking. I guess like the town auction, you could probably get the most money out of it. Like the last fire engine was traded in. That was in 1993, and that was traded in 2017. We got $10,000 off the new truck. So you don't get a lot of money out of those. I don't know what an ambulance would get. I assume it wouldn't be much, but it would probably go to auction, and then somebody would use it as a work truck. You know, electrician or a plumber. They make kind of good work trucks because the inside with the shelving and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what something would probably most likely get auctioned off to.
Okay.
now, the quote here, the estimate you have for 350,000, does that come with any bells and whistles, or is
Yes,
that?
that has, with CARES Act money, the ambulance we have now, we just had a regular cot
Yeah.
stretcher. We purchased a power load stretcher
Yep.
system, and it's $55,000 for that. It basically does all the lifting for you.
Yep.
It's all, so the 55, even to me, is like, wow, but if it saves one person from getting a back injury, 55,000 isn't a lot of money in the long run. So yes, that 350 has that price in it also.
Okay, and is that what they've currently been going for, 350, or is
Yes,
this?
I don't have a direct quote, or I haven't even talked to a rep about that, but I talked to area department chief who just got an ambulance last year. Now things are changing constantly with this stuff, but they paid, I think it was right around like $325 back then. So,
Okay,
but things are changing. Like when we go to the engine, we'll talk about that. Pricing right now is 60 days, and after that they don't honor it. So things are always changing. So.
so if we were to move forward with getting a new ambulance, either, 22, 23, is that going to mess up our replacement schedule plan with the other ambulance? Are they gonna be too close together? Are they gonna be spaced out enough where we don't have to worry about replacing one and then
I
replacing
wouldn't-
A2?
I would not say it's actually a plan. Like I said,
Okay,
if there was a plan, it wouldn't go 16, 17 years for these
Yeah.
items. So it's not
Okay.
on, especially on the ambulance side. I don't think there's really a plan. I
Okay.
mean, the initial plan was for these to be rotated out a new one every 5 years.
Right, that's a
Um,
plan.
Yeah, yeah, a very good plan, but not necessarily realistic. But even a 10 to 12 would be more reasonable. But yeah, with different things that have happened over the years, with the ambulance receipts count going to an enterprise count and now to the general fund, we're just like everybody else. So no money's put aside. And that initially, when the ambulance service started, there was supposed to be money put aside each year for that, but
Right.
that went to the wayside years ago.
okay. What, just out of curiosity, Chief, what's the number of calls you currently go on for the ambulance side, ballpark, a year?
Well, right now we're on pace for just over 700 calls. That's combined, and usually 60% of our call volume is the ambulance. So I think around close to 400 calls, 380.
Are we all EMTs or EMT paramedics?
The majority of the department is cross-trained. We have 6 or 7 of us right now that are paramedics, and the rest are EMTs.
Okay, so a good portion are paramedic call, or you have a paramedic on the call.
Yeah, we're ALS, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright, so this, you know, having the ambulance and having a updated ambulance really does benefit the entire community, where when you go
Yes.
on calls, you're not taking someone over what feels like an even bumpier road.
Yeah.
Right, if the suspension
Yeah, like
of the
the
ambulance
new
is
the new
different.
ambulance has a liquid suspension in it,
Yeah.
which one is a good thing, but then it's problematic. And then especially with everything with COVID, with ordering stuff, it was out last year. It was supposed to go down. It was supposed to be out of service for I think 2 days, and it ended up being like 3 weeks because of parts being back ordered. So those are new things that we never really dealt with before in the past. So that's even more important now to have a dependable backup ambulance. But like I said, if we were both in the same, if we got one in the next year or two, they'd have the same safety features and everything, so you could rotate them on a monthly or every 2-month basis.
Right.
So they'll prolong the life of them.
Right, so the other ambulance, the 2016 ambulance, since I can't keep the A's straight,
Yeah.
is not under warranty anymore, right?
I would assume there's nothing left on there that's covered.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and this would have some full warranty for some
Yes.
period
Yeah.
of time?
Yeah.
Is that 3 years, 5 years, mileage, how does
I
that
believe
work?
like most it's like around 5-year warranty for
Okay.
the major transmission engine, all that. So,
Okay.
and then I'm not quite sure like electronics and stuff. I think it's like a 3-year or 4, I forget. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right,
there
but
is
that
an
is all bundled
extended-
into the price?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you purchase extended warranties on these things?
I don't know.
Okay.
I assume not because we've never been offered. And I know
Oh,
when
yeah,
I
they
got my
would- yeah,
last
they'd be calling
vehicle,
you.
they're always like, "Here you go." So yeah.
Yeah, they would call
Every
you.
month.
Yeah.
Okay,
Any more questions, Susan?
Nope.
Okay, KP?
So, yeah, can you staff 2 ambulances at the same time?
On occasion, but not as like we used to in the past. No.
Okay.
So maybe 20% of the time we can get another one. Like during the day I'm there, so if the 2 guys are out,
Yeah.
occasionally somebody will come back, but not on a regular basis. Yeah.
That's good. So so you're basically using the newer one for the most part, and let the
Yes.
other one rest in the barn because it's older and whatnot?
Yeah. Which
Out
you know
the
it gets
pasture.
taken out from time to time. I mean, right now during the winter we had the ice rescue equipment we shoved in the back of it to use it for that, and then we'd have to take it out if we get a second call. Yeah, because having it sit there too is not a good thing either. So it has to have some use.
Cars could be driven, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's good.
KP, any more questions on ambulance? Okay. Chief, do you wanna talk to us about the fire engine? I know it wasn't a project that you put forward, but I'm
Oh, I
hoping
did-
you know what it is.
I did put forward it, but
not
Ryan
the
also
ARPA.
put one through
Right.
too.
yeah.
See, like I said, I wasn't thinking that this money at that point could be used for that, for an engine, until David said something to me. And as soon as he did, then I went back to the office, put the application together, and submitted it. So yeah, the engine, it's engine 2 replacement. It's our pumper tanker, holds 2,500 gallons of water. It's the second truck that comes in and would supply our first due, which is engine 1. Engine 1 only has 1,000 gallons of water on it. So what we do is that's the first truck in. They pull the first 1 or 2 attack lines. That gives you roughly, depending on how much water you're flowing, say 200 gallons per minute. You have 5 minutes of water. Engine 2 would show up with a crew. They would supply another 2,500 gallons. Buys you enough time now, 12 to 15 minutes, depending on how much you're flowing, so we can lay a supply line to the nearest pond or water hole. Or if it's too far out of that range, then we start calling other towns in for tankers and do a tanker shuttle. So engine 2 is a 2001 KME. It's starting to show significant rust on the frame, just from New England weather. And when I initially, had this in the capital plan, when we had engine one delivered, I asked the rep at that time, that was 2017, I was like, how much to replace this? He's like, ballpark, you're talking a little over 500, so I put in 550. I reached out to some area chiefs that were looking at engines, and then you're looking at like $600,000. So for the ARPA one, I put 590 because I was trying to reduce the sticker shock a little. So I was like, I had some more time because there was a meeting in March I was supposed to come to. I missed that one because I just got back from vacation. So I reached out to an area rep, and I guess Paxton is building a truck that's similar to us that we have now. But I don't know what the bells and whistles are on it, so hopefully I could strip that price down. But the truck they're building that's supposedly similar to ours is currently $741,000.
And they just did that in ARPA funds.
I think, yes, the rep did say they were looking at using ARPA funds for that. So that was way higher than I was anticipating. Now, I don't know what they're putting. There's so
Well, yeah,
much,
it could be anything.
Yeah. Bells and
and
whistles.
I'm the type, I'd strip the thing down if I had everything on it, so. And like you said, right now, the quote is only good, if I got a quote today, it's only good for 60 days.
Yeah.
And the build time, if it was approved, is just over a year to 18 months.
Ooh,
Yeah. Before you take delivery.
is that the normal time span, or is this because
No.
of COVID and
Usually,
supply
in the
issues?
past, it would be like maybe 8 months you look at from the time you place the order to delivery. So now you're talking a year to 18
Twice
months.
as
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
Ugh, okay.
So yeah, it's 21 years old. So by the time it's on the capital plan for FY24. By the time you place the order and it was actually in service, you're looking at the one we have now could be almost 24 years old.
When should it have been replaced?
Well, this Hubbardston is right around the time that we do this.
No,
Typically,
I'm looking
if-
for
Yeah,
best
if
practice.
you go by the NFPA standard, 20 years front line, I believe, and then you can have a 5-year window where it's in a reserve piece.
Uh-huh,
So,
alright, so we're late.
yeah, and to give you an example, in it was 2013 or 12, we had it. Engine 4 was a 1989 E1, and that year, from like that time frame, the 90s, from 89 to 93, there was a big push to increase the ISO. So you're talking about schedules. Well, they replaced one engine in 89, and then they replaced another one in 93. So the town at that point didn't want to replace 4, so it was like, well, it still ran fairly well, and it was like, well, give us $50,000 to do not a true refurbishment, but to at least go through the mechanical stuff, the braking, all that, to make sure it's safe to use. And they granted us the $50,000, and then the idea was, well, then we'll replace the engine 1. And that $50,000 will get us, maybe another 5 years out of this truck. So they gave us the money, it went into the shop, and as soon as they went under it, they were getting up into it, and where the frame meets the body was rotted out. Now, how long it had been like that,
Ugh.
I don't know. But as soon as you find something like that, the truck's out of service. The shop that you said you'd be insane to run this truck anymore. So instantly it's out of service. And I was like, well, could you put more money into it? And at that time, it was like he's like, you could probably need 100,000. But then when you renovate a house, you always find something else along the way. And he's like, for a truck that's that old, you don't want to be putting that money into
Right.
it.
Right.
So I went to the select board, told them that, and I remember one selectman, I won't use any names, and he's sure, he goes, you're crazy if you think you're gonna get 2 new trucks, replace engine 4 and engine 1 in that time frame. He goes, pick one. So I picked engine 1. Engine 4 left, and now we have truck 4, which is a military surplus that does the brush side of what engine 4 did, but doesn't have the capability even close to what that truck had. So it helps out a little bit having truck 4 on the brush side, but we basically lost one of our engines.
Alright, so if I followed any of that, we have
Was I
one.
rambling? I apologize.
No, you weren't rambling, but I'm not a truck girl. We have one pumper truck that has 1,000-gallon capability, and that's all we have.
No, we have engine one, which is an engine. It has 1,000 gallons and a 1,500 per minute gallon pump on it.
Right.
Engine two is a pumper tanker, so it can do first do engine operations, but also it's classified as a tanker because it has over 2,000 gallons.
So it can
Carry
carry
water.
water.
And then our engine three, which is basically a lemon, that holds 2,000 gallons of water. And that's our newest engine pumper.
Okay.
So that's my problem child for the last
Right.
13 and a half years.
Is
plus,
all of
but
that enough? Is all of that enough to put out a fire at my house?
that's the minimum that I need. Because like I said, engine one starts the fire, engine two comes up,
'Cause
gives
I'm
you
ready to
more
start
water.
crying right now.
And then,
I'm just telling you.
well, oh, no, that's why we have mutual aid. Any fire that we have in town, we're always going to be calling mutual aid, unless it's a chimney fire. But even then, you never know with extension and stuff. So any actual working fire, we're always going to have at least 2 towns coming in, and the bigger that fire gets, the more towns in. Like the one in Phillipston today, I think there was probably at least 6 communities there. For its regular residential single story house, but just the equipment you need and the manpower you need, none of us have that, the
Did you save
appropriate
the
amounts. Maybe not. It was close. There was a lot of damage to the house. The fire had been burning a long time before they discovered it, so,
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Alright, Chris, or KP rather, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, so it sounds like you need 2 pieces of equipment, obviously.
You say you're
rust
crazy,
problem.
you're not gonna get it, so pick one.
Well, the rust problem, well, you know, this isn't the only way we can do this, you know, fortunately. The rust problem on the engine seems like a bigger concern than the ambulance, but then I think you said the ambulance goes out more frequently than the engine would go out. So in your professional opinion, which one would you need sooner than later, given the lead times of both of these things too in this COVID environment?
Yeah. Both,
Yeah.
but if I had to pick one, I'd say it'd be the engine.
Yeah.
Just because if you lose that, then we're really handcuffed. Where the ambulance goes down, there's huge benefits to having that second ambulance, but we still have the one that's only 6 years old.
Right.
And getting some money, or all, I assume it's not all the money, but some money to go towards an engine, I think it makes it more appealing to the voters to support. Maybe if you said, I know there's more money coming down the road, I'm not sure how much you guys have left, but if you said, oh, we'll give you half,
Yeah.
then I think it's more appealing to the voters, or maybe it actually gets fit into the capital plan. Because I know the roads project comes out, that was in there last year, so maybe there's a possibility that it's funded in the capital plan, the rest of the money.
Okay.
And then
Now, is there, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I would leave the ambulance because the one that we have now is a backup. And if it goes down, then yeah, that handcuffs us too, but not as much as losing engine 2. And that's my biggest fear, is one day in the near future, I've had 2 people now, 2 shops, and actually this week we had a pump specialist come in. He was looking at engine 3, and one of the guys asked him about engine 2, and he got under and he was looking at it, and he was like, wow, you have 2 problem children here.
Yeah.
And he could see that, the corrosion and everything that's taken over with that truck. So to have that where if next year they're like, yep, you can't drive this anymore,
Right.
we'd be,
Right.
yeah,
And that's a
tough
2001,
way.
you said, right? 2001 model?
Yeah.
Is it possible to get an updated estimate on the fire truck with, what specs we'd go for, what the actual amount is?
Yeah, see, normally like next couple of months, if there wasn't this ARPA money, we'd get a committee together, meet with one of the reps, and they'd put the pricing together. cause it is on the plan for next year.
Okay.
So that is something I can do. It takes some time, cause you're gonna sit down and decide how you know, what you want, which is usually with us is, or me anyways, is what we're taking off of it to make it as cheap as possible, so.
Well, we have time, right? Like our money has an expiration date, but it's not this year.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah, that's what I figured too, like, I know in one of the meetings, somebody said, well, move it up. I actually would probably prefer if it went along with like next year, cause that gives us time to develop this. If you said, hey, I'll give you the money today, spend it, I'll get it done. But if.
that's kind of you.
Yeah, but yeah, give us time to sit down with you know, the rep, go over the truck, everything, and then I think it might be hopefully beneficial that maybe some of this insanity with prices going up,
Yeah.
maybe it calms down next year when it is scheduled to be, you know, voted on to at the town meeting or placed in the capital plan. Maybe things will get better, hopefully, or at least not as crazy. And like I said, I don't even know how you really, but you know, typically you'd go to somebody, we'd sit down in the next couple of months and go over what we want for the truck, and then I'd go, okay, well, it's $600,000 and it's in the capital plan, and they're like, oh, that's good for a year, and then you go to the town meeting or the
Yeah.
vote on it, and it would be a hard price, and they're saying like this is only good for 60 days. Well, how do you plan on that? So
I just want to make
Yeah.
sure that, you know, if we're gonna have this as a possible item, we want to have a ballpark of what it actually is, because I'd hate to say yes and then we find out, you know, we don't have, you know, right now it's 550, 236, so that gives you what, 786, right? I think that's how it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me look at that. Does that sound about right? I'm not misreading the application, am I?
350.
Oh no, it says total project cost 550. My apologies.
Yeah,
So-
that would 550, but like they said,
Yeah,
the
but you
last
said
one
earlier-
was 741.
So
Yeah.
we want to make sure we're dealing with real numbers and not maybe numbers.
Yeah.
So, but that would be helpful. And then I think even if we didn't vote on this cycle, I think our next cycle of applications is due on July 1st. So the funds would still be there, because I don't think there's any other current project that's out there for, you know, $700,000 that
Yeah.
would wipe it out. So
Okay.
they would be available. Okay.
Yeah, but then I think we would want some movement so that the price stays fixed.
But he's not gonna have the price for a couple months anyway.
No, I know, but I'm saying when you get the price.
Well, you know,
I mean,
That's a double-edged sword, I think.
yeah. Well,
You have to go. You're gonna have to go out to bid for it anyway, because it's.
no, it's all state
Oh,
contracted. The way
okay.
these things work now is that the
State bids it out and gets the price list.
well, no, there's a state price list. So
Yep.
every item that goes on that truck, if there's 5 different lights on it, like, you know, the lowest quality to the highest, there's already a price set
Yep.
for that. And then I think you go through and you add and you take out, and then I think I don't know how they're working it with this COVID and inflation and everything, but there must be an adjustment after the fact, because I can't imagine, because they go in and it's every aspect of that truck.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, I even know, like 5,000 items on the price list for a truck build. So there must be something after the fact, because I can't see them changing everything on that all the time. So it must be added on after, where like they do like your trash company does a fuel impact. They must be doing the same thing on their end. So yeah, if you're going to give me $700,000, then yeah, we could get this done as quickly as possible. But like, I didn't know, like, I would have been happy if you said, hey, we're going to give you $250,000 towards it, and then that'd make life a lot easier too. So
Okay.
All right. So we don't have a decision for you tonight. Do we have any more
Well,
questions though?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I got a question and a comment. The comment is you need 2 expensive pieces of equipment at the same time, which kind of stinks, but I like your thought of partially funding and then making it up out of the regular budget. And then my question is, you mentioned mutual aid for fires and fire trucks. Is there ambulatory mutual aid services? Is that such a thing?
Ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we go to the surrounding towns and they come help us out too. So yeah, it's a regular, daily,
Yeah.
or at least weekly event, yeah, for all of us in the surrounding towns.
So that thing's running a lot more than just locally here in Hubbardston.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, just tonight, they went over, like Barry, both of their ambulances out, and they went for a chest pain call in Barry, our ambulance, so that's where they are right now on a trip to Worcester, probably. So,
Alright, good. That's all I got.
Susan?
All good.
alright,
Well, thank you, Chief,
Thank
for
you,
coming
Chief.
in.
thank you.
Thanks for your
Appreciate it.
time.
All right, Economic Development Committee, Whitney, I do not see Whitney. All right, here for you, you're here, come on up.
I'm here. How are you?
Good, so if you can just introduce yourself for the record.
took so long.
No, that's fine. You're lucky I like you.
Good
You know, they do you great here.
Oh,
I've known him since.
I think you set the alarm off, yay. All right, can you remind us who you are?
Hi, I'm Dawn DeRoches. I'm the owner of Here For You. Actually been there 33 years. Crazy. Since I must have only been 14 then, no kidding. Right, first meeting, so I really don't have a lot of paperwork for you. I'm listening in to find out what I need to bring, what the questions are, same thing. The application was a little confusing for me
That's great.
and couldn't, right.
So a couple questions for you. I know I had
Go
written
right
down
ahead.
when I looked at the application. So one of them was, did you receive any funds from the government at all during
No.
all of COVID?
Applied for 'em, weekly, monthly,
What'd you apply for?
all the PPPs and all the small business ones.
Okay.
Who'd you go with? Who'd you apply through?
My bank, Lemonster Credit Union, a lot of the state ones. I was offered a loan, but I didn't want to take on more debt since I already had so much debt. That type of thing's calling, and then half of the ones I got answers from, I didn't know if they were really true or not true, and yes.
All right, and so how much are you looking for here?
That I really haven't come up with. I was
Okay.
looking. So yes, just basically going through some of it. It was well, I was shut down completely from March to June through Governor Baker. No one could go in. And then when I was allowed to open, it was one client at a time.
Okay.
And we couldn't do, because a lot of time I can do color, put them aside, do another client, I could multifunction, couldn't do that. And we had to leave longer for every particular client, because in between we had to do certain aspects too. Not that I don't clean in between, but really like the doorknobs and, so you had to leave an extra 20 minutes to a half hour in between clients to do what was regulated. So my clientele base went down.
Yep.
Products went up, rent, he increased as soon as we were able to open. Don't ask me why he would do such a thing since I paid him the whole time,
Yep.
on time.
He has.
And all the, the phone, because I did go in between and checked on clients, because at first when Governor Baker said it was closed for 2 weeks, so I'd call, move them out, and then, no, another 2 weeks, you have to keep all that in business to go, call them, reschedule, do that. Products, and what we had to do to the business to make it sustainable to open when we were going to be allowed to open.
Now, do you have any workers or is it just you?
I have one 1099, one self-employed girl that works under me. Yeah, I did have another one that was starting, and she was pregnant, did not start, of course,
Okay.
yes.
Susan, do you have questions?
Can you get us a profit and loss statement?
Yes,
For, cause you've given us the
2021.
2021, could we have it for 2019
Yep.
and 2020?
that's what I was writing down, I got 19, 20, 21 right there, profit and
good.
loss, because I do have an appointment with my accountant.
Yep,
Yep, so you want those.
yeah,
And then the other thing, to decide how to lose, it's hard because then even when I was able to open, I do a lot of elderly in town also, because I've been doing them for years and years, and they stayed away, and trying to figure out how many I lost, and how many people put it off for, I have still clients, oh, I haven't been there in a year, would love to come in. It's hard to manage what you lost when you don't know how good you were gonna do.
Well, would 2019 be a representative year for you in terms of how you did? Was
I
that
can
a
look at
pretty-
all the
was
way
that
back
like a
from
normal
2000.
year? That's what
I will
I'm
look
trying
at
to
that.
look at
Okay.
a normal year and then see what happened in
Okay.
20 and 21.
Yeah, even,
How about the first part of 22? How about right now? Do you have, can you do anything like through March 31st?
oh, I can come up with it, definitely, but, yeah.
But just anecdotally, are things any better, like in this first quarter of
I
22
would
or
say I'm
not?
picking up.
Okay,
Is it up to what it was? I would not say so.
okay, alright,
No,
okay.
only.
Is that same true for for the diner?
Oh yeah, my
Okay.
food is insane.
No.
It's the price
But in terms of the
food.
foot traffic, in
And
terms of your
that's,
customers,
well, and
are
that's not come back.
okay.
at
Well, the
all.
foot traffic, okay, I'm seeing an increase, which is nice now that we have no mask and da-da-da. But then what I'm spending for products.
Well, yeah,
right,
no, I
you
get
know,
that part, yeah.
so it's sort of like.
Yeah, I was interested in
The
customer
foot
side.
traffic, I would say right about with the weather better, with the windows gonna be open, with hopefully I can get some weddings, proms, dances in, event, you know, that would help.
Yep, yep.
Because we didn't have those for the last 2 years,
Right.
you know, and there is a prom, I got one girl booked so far. But it used to be like the middle school dance, the high school dance, you know, much
Yeah.
more popular.
Yeah.
But I think we're, and then we still have some people that are a little nervous coming, but I'm hoping with the better weather and the windows and
Yeah,
that type of thing, we can all succeed
okay,
with that,
alright, great, yeah, that'll be good.
you know.
Susan, any more questions?
Nope.
I think
KP?
I think it's all gonna come back, it's just gonna be really, really slow.
Well, yes, that's where we're gonna hold on to it.
So, I'm looking at your list here, your,
I know that,
Wow.
I just threw together the day before, it was like,
Um,
dude.
I'm not too familiar with your industry or your particular shop. Did you have to like put up, you know, you go to the bank and they have to put up all these
What we had to do for
plexiglass type things to
regulations,
separate, you had to do all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
too, and I'm sure that
So,
cost you
yes.
something.
like even when I was closed, I was begging Governor Baker, like every night, just give me guidelines,
Yeah.
I need to go back to work, what are your guidelines? I even went to other states that were able to open as hair salons, there's their guidelines, give me some. So I was put up, move the chairs so we couldn't have
Social distancing.
6
and
social distance,
plexiglass and all
that,
kind of stuff.
what you couldn't have around, nothing paper, everything had to be encased in, you know, washable plastic type deals. Yeah,
Okay,
time
make
in
sure-
between, they had to sit outside in the car, you had to walk out, get them, call them, and when one client
Right.
left, that type of, put up parking signs and so I could have spaces, so I didn't have to go run around the parking lot and try to find my clients.
Just make sure you call that out, like highlight that for us, that, you know, those are particular things that COVID really made you, that,
Spend money
you
on.
know, yeah, the regulations made you do
Okay.
directly because
Yeah.
of COVID, which cost you, you know,
Okay.
understand you lost clients, people were uncomfortable coming in, but there's
Right.
also structural differences.
Yeah,
For you to even be able to conduct your business, you had to do, you know, structural things.
Okay.
that
I'm
I'm sure
thinking that
cost
should
money.
show up on the P and L
Yeah.
when we compare 2019, when you didn't have to do any of this, to 2020 and when you did.
right, okay.
Any other questions, KP?
Not at this point, no.
Alright, Don, so thank you very much, you're welcome to stick out, you'll find out before we're done when our next meeting is.
Yeah, I
It's gonna
wanna
be
find
next
out the
week, but we play scheduling mayhem at the end.
Okay, just so I can get this done for my account when I have some stuff, but.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
if
know
you,
that's
if you
right
hang
away.
out, I think we'll be relatively quick.
Okay, go right ahead.
Alright, Hubbard Singh COA Senior Center deck, come on up. Well, I'd say come on, well, I guess you are kind of potentially winning some, so that works, right? Is the price right?
That's the
Let's
question.
find out. All right, so introduce yourself for the record.
My name's John Nason. I'm the chairman of the Council on Aging. I'm here tonight. Claudia sends her apologies, but she had dental surgery today, so she
Oh.
didn't think she could, I guess, some reconstructive surgery, so we feel like
Awesome.
she's up to it. I'm gonna pass this out. It's pretty much
Thanks.
gonna be my,
There you go. Thank you.
I tried to put everything in here today, yeah.
All right, so tell us why you're here, John. You
Well,
can read
we-
or give us a.
I'm here to present a case, as I say here, for extending the footprint of the senior center. We'd like to put a deck on the back of the building here. Being in the open air, it turned out to be a big problem during the COVID season. And we needed more room, and we needed fresh air too, for the people to be out there. Donnie Berthium, our representative, is, I'm not sure he's still in the construction business, but he has been, I know, in Spencer for many, many years. And he offered to do the plans for us, enlist Monty Tech to have students there do the building with him under his supervision. And I think, and I've given you one of our newsletters, and you'll see on the last page, turn it over,
Yeah.
and you'll see a schedule there. We have a varied program, and I'm kind of proud of the Hubbardston Senior Center. I took over because the chairman at the time got very ill, and they asked me to step in, and I did. I was the former chairman many years ago for around 3 years, so you remember that.
I do.
You know, I'm very proud of the Hubbardston Senior Center. I founded the Friends of the Senior Center. With Claudia, went to the Barry Senior Center. We saw a great idea, a giving tree, and so we've raised money with that. The Friends have raised money. The Golden Ages have raised money. If you go over there now, I don't know if you've been over there lately, take a look at probably the prettiest little senior center in the state.
Well, we were in there. The select board met in there last time and the time before.
Oh, time before.
Yeah, and looking pretty sharp.
Didn't cost the town a penny.
Looking sharp.
Yeah, the Friends bought all the appliances, other groups bought chairs and tables.
Yeah.
Donnie Berthium put the floor in.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, we think we've done well by the town as far as what we're trying to do. I know at one time we had a higher rate of seniors. I don't know if we're dying off or what it is, but right now it's 28% of demographic, people over 60. That's a pretty big chunk of people. And people love to come here. You'll notice I say from people from Hubbardston and surrounding towns, because we get state money from the State Council on Aging. We have to allow any senior that comes in there and gives them the services. We provide quite a few services now. We have a senior that gives people help with their taxes and works with them when they're transitioning from work to retirement.
Shine.
Medicare
counselor.
advice, yeah. And we do a lot of things, and we do have a lot of volunteers, and we have some great volunteers. And I think the volunteers are the key to the senior center. You'll always find a volunteer here working. They're in charge for the day, and always have plenty of goodies for seniors that come in, and people really love it. Now,
So what are we looking for here, John?
We're
You're
looking
looking
for-
for a deck.
a deck, and Donnie's been a little slow in getting me the design, or Claudia. And I looked out there today, and I can understand why. It's a very complicated configuration that he's gonna have to build it.
Where's it gonna go, John?
Huh?
Where's it gonna go?
It's gonna go right behind the whole building here.
So right out your back door there and
Correct.
you'll step right
Yeah.
onto the deck there?
I would suggest, and I don't know whether they will or not, there's a little tree there, that'll have to come out of there. There's a cement
You
ramp.
just put a hole in the deck and let the tree grow up through the hole.
I
Yeah,
don't
what
think
could
so.
possibly go wrong?
We need all the room we can get. We fill this place often.
Yeah.
What, do you have the dimensions of that deck, John?
I haven't got them yet.
Okay.
Clay has been waiting for them from
Okay.
Don. I don't know whether the legislature is in session or not, it makes it a little more difficult. But I'm confident that he'll come up with something. I looked at it tonight, because I haven't been tasked with this before. And I'd have to say that it'll be a little complicated, you know.
Okay.
Has the
I-
deck, go ahead.
It's $25,000 to $35,000 is what he estimates. I'm thinking it's gonna be closer to the 35. But I think it's money well spent. We'll have an outdoor space covered hopefully, and be able to put people out there. I'm hoping the COVID doesn't come back. I heard that Philadelphia has just gone through indoor masking and stuff. 1.7 million and 132 people have COVID.
So, you said it's gonna be covered, do you plan to put a structural roof on the deck?
We're thinking that that's the only thing that makes sense to have, otherwise they're only gonna be, if the
Yeah.
sun is out, we can use it, you know.
Yeah, So where do you stand, like, with the town, with Ryan or David about permits, and do you need permits have they okayed this project, given the space, do they need to
I don't think there's
okay?
enough specifics yet, we don't have the drawings, I haven't seen any drawings, you know, I've seen a schematic of the
Yeah.
land out there, and there's a couple of problems. There's I don't know if it's a grease pit or a cesspool or whatever it is, but we're gonna have to work
Oh,
around
is
that,
there?
I don't know.
Yeah,
So it looks like you guys are in the beginning stages of this, John.
We are, but we thought we ought to put our oar in the water here and get
Okay.
this thing going, you know, that's, I think they've been talking about it for a few months now, and the holdup is when you have volunteers volunteering to do drawings and you have to go along with their time, you know.
Gotcha.
It's not like we've hired somebody to do this. We're trying to do this as economically, I don't wanna say cheap, as economically as
no, you
possible.
don't wanna do
And
it cheaply,
expensive.
economically is the better word.
Yeah,
Jeff?
Yeah, I wanted to point out to you guys, because before you came on the board, Claudia tried to get this started a couple of years ago and had sat down with Ryan, and he was trying to be creative to see, because she was basically going to try to raise the money on her own, et cetera. And the reason it fell through is because it was necessary to have it covered with the way they wanted to use it.
Okay.
And what came in as a price because of the covering was out of her reach.
Okay.
And so it just stopped, so it had a life of going, and it came before the board, and she met with Ryan, but it never got any further than that, just because of the price went out of sight at the time. So it's not a brand new project, but John's out, they're getting it started again, so.
So John, same thing, I had said to the fire chief, you know, I think we're gonna try to hopefully wrap up this one session here, and then we're opening up the next round for July 1st, so, you know, if this isn't baked enough to come, cause we wanna make sure if you're gonna ask for funding, we're gonna give funding, we wanna make sure we give enough funding, right? Cause it would be a bummer if you say 25, 35, we say yes to 35, it comes back at 49 or 60,
well,
and
I'll
we're out
tell
of
you
funds.
this, I promise we raise the difference price, cause we've done it before here. You know, if you look in there, there's a lot of work that's been done, and it
Yeah.
hasn't cost the town a penny in there, you know, so,
Excellent.
we have people that are motivated enough to wanna, they're proud of the senior center for one thing. And, people come from all over, frankly. Before the pandemic, for some of our pitch parties and that, they've come in as far as New Hampshire. The word got around, and down Route 2 almost to
You must throw a
Greenfield.
heck of a pitch party.
It was, you know, no, it was a lot of fun, you know, we had
Sure.
50 some odd people, 57 I think, with our top. But it's just a good place, people love to come here because the atmosphere is great, very friendly and welcoming, and that's what we should be with seniors.
Excellent. So when we have the full board next week, we'll decide, you know, what we're voting on, what not. If we don't vote on it for some reason, or if that's a decision of the ARPA committee, then I would just encourage you guys to, continue developing it, and, the
You
next
can be
round will
sure
be
we
July
will.
1st.
I've only been involved in this for about 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, well, by day 3, you'll have it down.
Yeah, I hope so.
He
Okay.
will, he definitely.
And make sure you partner with Ryan, he's coming back here soon,
Good.
because,
May 2nd. You should,
you
you
gotta
should
get-
touch him base with him May 2nd, he'll be happy to,
I'm
first
sure
day back.
That's right.
building
Nobody will be
inspector, the building
fine, too.
inspector's gonna need to get involved, and there's gonna
Right.
be probably some ADA compliances we're gonna
Right.
have to make sure we're in line with and all that kind of
It's
stuff.
best to wait in the building inspector till July 1st.
I've got some extras of those for your other committee members if you'd like some.
Oh, sure, I'll take those for you, John, I'll hand them
I
out
didn't
next
know how
time.
many members on your,
We have a total of 5, so the
Okay.
3 of us and we have 2 more.
okay, I'll give you 2 more sets.
That sounds like a good plan. Alright, KP, do you have any more questions for John?
No, I think we're good.
Susan?
All good.
Alright, John, thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you.
Alright, so I think we've gone through our entire list this evening of what we had left over except for EDC, but I don't have anyone from EDC to ask questions to. So, we'll remind them next week. I'm hoping next week we can wrap up what we have left on the table, close out this round. Thank you,
for
John.
your time.
And then
Good to see you, John.
move forward, figure out what our current balance is and put that forward to the July 1st and solicit some more projects or some revisions of the current ones. Let's see, additional recommended project list with amounts to send to the select board. Right now we don't have any just yet, but hopefully next week we will. Next steps, next round, we just talked about that. Next meeting date. So this has been so fun. We meet so regularly and we're so far behind our minutes, but let's meet again. What works for everybody next week? Next week. We do not have a select board meeting on Monday, so theoretically Monday's available, but I always struggle with getting those agendas in on time for Mondays, just to let you know.
And you
Monday
gotta have
doesn't
time to
work.
post it.
Monday does not work.
Neither does Tuesday.
Tuesday's out. KP.
When's the 20th?
20th is next Wednesday.
That doesn't work.
Okay, and Thursday doesn't work for me. So, how about the week after?
That works for me.
There's a board meeting on Monday in that particular week.
There is a board, thank you, Jeff, good thing you told us that. Let's see where's my
Tuesday.
calendar.
So these, when's the next select board meeting after that? Cause how long would it take for these?
So the next select board meeting after that is, I think, the first of the, I always get confused.
When is
see
it?
if it's in here.
By
So,
that point, Ryan's back for the
25th.
next one, cause the
Yeah, it's
So-
either the first or second Monday in May. I never
Okay, so
know what
either the
cycle we're
second or
on.
the ninth.
second of the ninth, yeah, because Ryan's back on the second.
Okay.
Okay, so that's not
The
bad.
ninth? No.
No, that's not bad at all then.
Okay, so it's not next week, the week after next, what works for people. That
Okay,
Monday is out
26th.
because it's a select board meeting.
Yeah.
That Tuesday will be, what is it, the 26th?
Can't do the Tuesday.
Okay. How about Wednesday the 27th?
Do the
Can't do the
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
No.
How about Thursday the 28th?
Can do the Thursday.
I can
KP?
do the Thursday.
Alright, Thursday the
Sounds like a plan.
28th,
Really?
it's 6:30, and I don't know, I don't think that's a planning board meeting day, but I will look, and if I run into any trouble, I will pop an email out. And see if we're accidentally kicking anyone else out of their meetings, which we do periodically, cause I just don't memorize everyone's schedule, unfortunately.
Well, you can always use.
We can, if we had the deck, we could meet outside, but we're not there yet.
See, I know.
Alright, a matter is not reasonably anticipated by the chair, I don't have any, Susan?
Bad.
Done.
KP?
Nope.
Alright, that being said, it looks like I need a motion here.
So moved to adjourn.
Second,
Alright,
So I'll have
all in
that
favor?
by-
Aye.
yes.
Aye, alright, we're adjourned 7:47. Look at that, just over an hour.
Now, you guys aren't gonna be going tomorrow night to the
I
slaughter.
cannot.
Okay, okay.
Recording stopped.
Okay.
I am not available, unfortunately.
There are 3 of us, so
Yes, there are.
Dan's going
That's what we
to
decided.
Zoom, and Katie and I are gonna feed it down like this.
Well, we did the last 2 meetings, and the first one was entertaining, the second one was redundant.
Yeah.
The third one is unnecessary.
No, there wasn't a